Cougar Softball Stadium in Houston. It's the Houston Cougars hosting the Oklahoma Sooners. And good afternoon. I'm Matt Peterson. He's Kyle Wormington. Both these teams have ties. Patty Gasso, the mentor to Houston head coach Kristen Vesely.
Yeah, Coach Vest, great playing career at OU. Welcomes Coach Patty Gasso back to Houston. Also pitching coach, Coach Lacey at GA at OU the last time they won a national championship. Excited to have #2 ranked Oklahoma here. Good measuring stick for Houston today.
Oklahoma historic opening weekend in El Paso. They outscored University of Texas, El Paso, and Abilene Christian 70-2. So a big measuring stick for Houston this afternoon.
Yeah, these pitchers, are they able to keep this offense, one, in the yard, but two, limit the multi-run home runs?
And there is Kristen Vesely, Coach Vess. 2003 to 2006, 4 times all Big 12 as a player under that Hall of Famer. Coach Patty Gasso now in her 27th year in Norman, 4 national championships with the Sooners. Well, both these teams excited to play today. The winter freeze descended upon Texas. Oklahoma also affected by it. But multiple itineraries for both these teams. Oklahoma has had to change its schedule multiple times, and Coach Gasso said this week, if we play this weekend, we'll be celebrating.
Absolutely. You know, Coach Vest pointed out good relationship with Coach Gasso, but probably talked to her more this week than she has in a while, just trying to figure out how to get this team down here to play this weekend.
Here we go. It's Jada Coleman to lead things off from the left side, and the first pitch is high from Rachel Hertenberger. It's a homecoming to Texas for Coleman, who had a wonderful weekend in El Paso last weekend. Off speed hits the outside. Coleman, 7 hits in 12 at-bats. A homer, 2 doubles. Part of this wonderful freshman class, Coleman, Jennings, and Nicole May among the freshmen who've already had an impact.
Yeah, OU leading off with 2 true freshmen in the 1-2 spot today.
Shows a bunt, fouls it back. Robert Gonzalez, the home plate umpire. Jared Arrington's at first. John Scott is over at third. Hertenberger gets the ball here in Game 1. She took the ball in Game 1 on opening day last Friday. Got the win against Lamar, a run rule victory. Slapped out to left, and the catch is made by Paige Lott.
And right there, Hertenberger showing us what she showed in Game 1, just the ability to move the ball around. Already seen the rise ball up, seen the off speed for a strike, and there she goes to the drop, able to get it down and get Coleman to pop out for the first out.
Now Tiare Jennings, the NFCA Louisville Slugger National Player of the Week last week, the first freshman to win it in the first week of the season since 2008. She was only retired once. 12 for 13, 5 homers, 3 doubles, 30 total bases as the Sooners won all 4 games in El Paso.
That one weekend, that's a couple of weeks for most hitters right there. And from a true freshman at that.
Well, she hit second today, hit leadoff and second 3 times last weekend, called a franchise player by Coach Gasso. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Rachel showing the off speed there. Her ability to change speeds today is going to be huge. This Houston team wants to have a chance to take one from OU.
Jennings, the Gatorade Softball Player of the Year in California in 2020. Pops it out to right. Bethany Bush puts it away. 2 quick outs here for Rachel Hertenberger in the first inning.
Yeah, really utilizing the changeup in these first 2 at-bats.
Well, after the 2 freshmen, now a veteran anchor in the order. Jocelyn Alla will stand in now, the senior from Hawaii. 2018 first team All-American, 2019 second team All-American, the 2018 National Freshman of the Year.
Just a short list of accolades she's accrued so far throughout her college career. And 3 home runs so far this season, puts her, I believe, 4th at OU in all-time home runs. So I see her maybe moving up that list just a little bit further before the season's over.
Pops it up third base side, backing out of play. She'll benefit from, in essence, a 5th season. Last year, she expected to be her senior season. Cut short due to the pandemic, so she might end up atop the list. She's currently 4th in home runs, OU history, 8 away from 2nd. She's in the top 10 all-time, a .404 career hitter, slugging near .850, approaching 100 career walks. Time granted. 0-2 on Alo. It's a great start so far for Hertenberger. Gave up 1 hit, 1 run, walked 2, struck out 4 against Lamar last Friday.
Alo able to hold up there. Really good drop ball away. Great spot in the 0-2 count. And this is where Rachel's been really good. With this OU team, when you get ahead, you have to make good pitches. Last weekend, a lot of pitches missing up in the zone, and they can hurt you when you miss there.
Fouled off behind third. Alo's best season, 2018. She led the country with 30 homers. That matched an OU record. She hit .420 and had 72 runs batted in.
That's really amazing. I mean, to be able to do just the consistency with the power is just really impressive.
Popped up towards second. Paige Holsey puts it away. A great start for Rachel Hertenberger. Oklahoma 70 runs last weekend, but they're retired in order here in the first. Houston coming up. There is Giselle Juarez, known as G. Battled injury last year. 2-time first-team All-American. She'll face Lindsey Stewart-Vaughn, who bunts it back towards the circle. Juarez spins and not in time to first. A good start for Houston. A bunt base hit for Lindsey Stewart-Vaughn.
Yeah, really good play by G. Juarez. Just nothing you can do there. The speed of Lindsey Vaughn, getting it done with the bunt. Good to see Juarez back in the circle, coming off that injury. Obviously, since she's transferred to Oklahoma, been one of the premier pitchers in college softball.
And we should mention, as Bethany Bush stands in from the left side, lefty on lefty. Ball 1, that 4 players are out for Oklahoma due to contact tracing. Taylin Snow, Janet Johns, Nicole Mendez, the Houstonian, and pitcher Brooke Vestal not available due to contact tracing. Unfortunate for Oklahoma, but a team with great depth. So as a result, some players getting an opportunity. Donahue starts at second. And then in right fields, you have Boone getting the start.
Not only some fresh faces for OU on defense getting starts today, but also a little shuffle in defense. Jennings actually played second last weekend, will move to third today for the transfer of Johns.
2 balls, 1 strike. Bush hit 5th twice against Lamar, 2nd against Texas Southern last weekend. She bats 2nd again. 375 on the year with the double and 3 runs batted in. Bunted third base side. Excellent bunt. No play. That had the backspin on it. And a wise decision. Tiare Jennings decides not to throw.
Yeah, we didn't see this much from Houston, obviously, last weekend, but using some small ball to get a quick start here.
That was a yo-yo bunt. Watch the ball just stop on the third base line.
Yeah, and there's nothing, obviously, Jennings can do there. Bush able just to deaden that ball along the line, and you can't teach it much better than that.
Good start. Bunt base hits for Stewart-Vaughn, and Bush sets the table for Sarah Queen. Well, Coach Patty Gasso in her 27th year for College World Series. But she mentioned last weekend, even though the Bats produced 70 runs in 4 games, the #1 story for her team was G. Juarez back in the circle after throwing less than 7 innings last year. Queen swings and misses to the first pitch.
Yeah, Juarez bringing back some experience in the circle. This Sooner team, though, has some depth. 7 pitchers this season, a lot of arms, so they got plenty of bullets at the chamber, if you will.
Foul back, good cut from Queen. It was a bizarre injury, a bicep injury on her left arm, her throwing arm. Initially, the MRI did not reveal a tear, but ultimately decided it was torn and she had to have surgery.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, a personal incident, not to me, a friend of mine went through a similar thing, ACL injury. They, for whatever reason, the MRI wasn't clear as to the extent of the injury. Went in to have surgery, said it'd either be 4 to 5 weeks or 4 to 6 months. So it's tough sometimes. It's amazing how far we've come, with technology, and to still have an MRI and not have a conclusive answer.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Hit out to center, carrying back. It is all the way and out of here. A 3-run shot for Sarah Queen. First small ball, then the long ball. Cougars up here in the first.
Really just speechless. Ahead in the count and really kind of a bad spot. That ball got too much of the plate, not where G. Juarez wanted that. And Sarah Queen showing off that loud power.
Second homer of the year for the redshirt senior from Houston. Had a homer against TSU last weekend. Behind in the count 0-2, but she came out swinging early in that at-bat.
Well, Queen has been aggressive so far this season at the plate. Able to get to that pitch and just drive it out. Showing some oppo-filled power there.
Now it's Brittany Shaw, redshirt freshman from Galveston. She has grown this season. Hit down in the order 6th and 7th against Lamar, then 4th against TSU. She's the cleanup hitter again. 5 for 7 last weekend with 3 walks, a double, and 3 runs scored. One ball, 1 strike.
The interesting thing about that home run, I don't know if you could hear it, but the dugout seemed to know that that was gone immediately off the bat.
Houston has scored more runs than El Paso and ECU scored combined last weekend. Oklahoma outscored UTEP and ECU 70-2 over the 4 games in El Paso last weekend.
Yeah, OU's pitching staff a .90 ERA through those first 4 games, 24 strikeouts and only 2 earned runs.
Good cut from Shaw, stays alive 1-2. Juarez said she's trying to create more power with her legs now. She believes the lack of power or shortage of power was partly a contributor to the bicep injury.
Yeah, and really, I mean, the body is a chain, right? So you work up through your legs and core, you get output from the arm. So if there's a letdown or a lack of force through that kinetic chain, that can lead to injuries up the chain.
First 2 years at Arizona State, transferred to Oklahoma. Nice take that time by Brittany Shaw. Missed almost 2 full years with the bicep injury. And surgery on the left arm. Continues this lefty legacy in Norman. Popped right back to the circle. Easy play there for G. Juarez. Shaw retired, first out for Houston in the first.
I want to know where Coach Gasso keeps finding all of these lefties. Both you had both Pages, Kaylani Ricketts, Michelle Gasquin, to name a few.
Of course, Paige Parker, the ace, 2 national titles under Patty Gasso, left-handed. Kaylani Ricketts as well, and Parker now a volunteer assistant on the OU coaching staff. Rock Benavides stands in.
Actually, Paige Parker, we'll see her this year. She was hired at Tulsa as a pitching coach, so we'll see her during some conference play this year.
Swing and a miss from Benavides. She knows a thing or two about Oklahoma City. Won the College World Series in 2018 with Florida State. Made it of Corpus Christi. She's bounced around the lineup. Hitting 5th today. Batted twice in the 2-hole against Lamar. Houston's come out swinging here in the first inning against G. Juarez.
Absolutely. I love the aggressiveness. This Houston offense not being shy at all at the plate. but also discipline. That was one thing Coach Best talked about. We've seen Juarez try to go upstairs with the rise ball a couple times. These hitters so far have laid off, and attacking pitches in the hitting zone.
2 balls, 2 strikes. G. Juarez, top 10 Oklahoma history. Number 2 opponent's batting average, 150 against her. Number 2 strikeouts per 7 innings, over 10 in that category. Career ERA of 1.45.
You know, I feel sorry for whoever has to continue to update all of these records and accolades for this OU softball team.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Benavides ready. Good eye, full count. Benavides a good contact hitter. Line drive, gap to gap. They're trying to add the gap power, and Coach Kristen Vesely thinks she can hit more doubles this season. Out to center. Jada Coleman puts it away. 2 gone here in the first.
Really good at bat there by Rock. Worked it to full count. Just missed that. Any balls that are lifted today, see some excitement from the dugout.
Katie Repa stands in now. A nice weekend last weekend. Take strike 1.
Yeah, Repa, like Shaw, a nice surprise, I think, for this Houston team. Producing maybe a little more than what we thought we'd see from him early on. So good to have her in the lineup and doing well so far.
That's up and in. Repa hitting .333, 5 runs scored, 2 doubles last weekend. She hit 7th and 6th and then 5th. Stands in hitting 6th today. Good look at the Houston dugout. Foul back, of course. Former Sooner Kristen Vesely in her 5th season as the head coach. Cougar pitching coach Lacey Waldrop ties to OU. She was a graduate assistant under Coach Gasso in 2017. They won the national title that year. And then the hitting coach for Houston's Lexi Elkins, former star at Louisiana.
Good off speed there from Juarez. Been a little out of the zone. She hasn't really been able to find the zone with that off speed, but there, ball looked pretty good. Repa taking a cut, but out front and underneath.
Juarez, 3 innings in her first 2 starts last weekend in El Paso. Did not allow a run, did not allow a hit, struck out 11. Comes inside. Coach Gasso said she was nervous last weekend. A full-time, first time without injury in 2 years last weekend in El Paso. Popped up shallow center. Coleman makes the catch. A great start for Houston. Bunt base hits for Lindsey Stewart-Vaughn and Bethany Bush. And then Sarah Queen with 2 strikes. A 3-run shot to center field. After 1 in Houston, Cougars 3, Sooners nothing. Kristen Vesely, 5th year as the Houston head coach. What a career she had in Norman. She left as the Sooners' all-time hits leader with 293. First pitch to Kinsey Hansen is a ball outside. Started all but 4 games in the outfield. Also played 4 years of college soccer in Norman. And 2-time All-American. She went from Norman and then associate head coach here at Houston, and now 5th year as the head coach. Popped up, 3rd base side. Over comes Rock Benavides. 1 out here in the Oklahoma 2nd as Hansen's retired.
Interesting route there from Rock. Looks like we have a little wind blowing out towards right field. She looked like she was camped under that and had to work back towards shortstop.
Hansen's retired. She had 4 homers last weekend. And now it's Grace Lyons. How about the depth in this Oklahoma team? Lyons is batting 5th. She had 6 homers last weekend in El Paso.
I mean, again, I don't know how many things you can say about this Sooner softball team, but to have that kind of depth, they returned 17 players, 11 with starting experience. Then you add in a couple freshmen who were Gatorade Player of the Year in their states. The recruiting by Patty Gasso is just amazing.
The Lions 10 hits last weekend, 28 total bases, but probably her best tool is her defense. She rips that foul. One of the best defensive shortstops in the country, maybe the best. She was the starting shortstop 2019 Women's College World Series team that lost to UCLA. Great arm, quick release at short.
Absolutely. Like you said, arguably the best shortstop in the country. The only other shortstop that comes to mind, maybe Sis Bates might have something to say about that. But in terms of all-around tools, Lions is definitely one of the best.
Has really mentored Tiare Jennings, the middle infield partner. Jennings has slid over to third today. As we mentioned at the outset, 4 Sooners out today due to contact tracing within the program. Taylor Snow, Janet Johns, Nicole Mendez, and Brooke Vestal. Real disappointing for Nicole Mendez. She was on the Sooner podcast this week, mentioned how excited she was to come back to her hometown in Houston. She was injured in 2017 when the Sooners came down here. Soft line drive out to center, and it's caught by Lindsay Stewart-Vaughn.
And so far this inning, Hurtenberger, again, moving the ball up and down, effective with the off-speed, and it just shows you don't have to throw it in the upper 60s to be able to get a good lineup out, but just the ability to move the ball around in the zone and then change speeds on top of that. And so far through 5 outs, pretty effective from Rachel Hurtenberger.
Lindsay Elam now, she's the captain. She's from Chickasha, Oklahoma, a senior. Coach Gasser describes her as someone you can count on. One of the best defensive catchers in line drive, base hit into left. Paige Lott quickly back to the infield on the first pitch. Elam aboard, the first base runner for Oklahoma, Rachel Hurtenberger. Now it's Grace Green. Green did not play last weekend in El Paso, dealing with some small injuries. Today is her 2021 debut, but she's had quite the career in Norman. 2019 third-team All-American from NFCA. Was the Big 12 Freshman of the Year. Hit .359 with 17 homers and 54 batted in 2 years ago.
Depth on depth on depth.
Well, Green didn't play last weekend. Shannon Sale, who threw the most innings last year, did not play. She should play this weekend. Quick visit to the mound. Katie Ray Brown speaks with Rachel Hurtenberger. Foul back. Hurtenberger, part of this young staff, 4 returning pitchers, Hurtenberger, Hewlin, Lee, and Hudson, each an underclassman.
And really a common theme I think you're going to see this year in softball is more of the staff mentality. Just with COVID and everything that teams are battling, you need more than one arm in the circle. And I think even from OU with G. Juarez, and the 7 arms that they have, you are going to see multiple pitchers from this team. And same thing here at Houston.
Lifted to left. Lott at the wall, looks up, it's gone. Grace Green, her first at-bat of 2021, and it's a 2-run shot to left. And just like that, the Sooners back within a run.
And that right there is a perfect example of what we actually talked about before the game started. You know, as teams play the Sooners this year, the question is, can they keep them in the yard? And I think more importantly is, can you keep runners off the bases when they leave the yard? Can you limit the home runs to 1 run, to solo home runs? That pitch on the inner half, Green just opens up and cuts it loose.
Did not hit a homer last year in the pandemic-shortened season. 17 as a freshman in 2019. Now it's Mackenzie Donahue. She takes the ball inside. First start of 2021. Took the start at second base.
You know, as we watch that replay there, I think more impressive from Green is just the easy power. That didn't look if she had to put a whole lot of effort into that swing.
70 runs scored last weekend. They won on opening day 29-0, and the Sooners set an NCAA single game record with 13 home runs, most ever in a single game. And they also tied the NCAA record for homers in an inning. They had 5 in the first and the fourth.
You know, interesting interview with Coach Gasso actually talking about that and how do you move forward, you know, as a team after that weekend. Where do you set your expectations when you're setting records in your first 4 games? And her being the competitor that she is, you know, you kind of got to wipe the slate clean each time you start a new game and focus on winning that one game and not worry about the records.
Donahue walks on 5 pitches. 3 straight have reached now with 2 outs. It was a good start to the inning for Hertenberger, but Elam first pitch single, Green the 2-run homer, and then Donahue the 5-pitch walk. Visit the circle for Lacey Waldrop. First year as a pitching coach, 2014 USA Softball Player of the Year, Florida State's all-time leader in wins. Also did it off the field 2015 Lowe's Senior Class Award in softball.
She was okay.
Star-studded coaching staffs and rosters for both these teams. Riley Boone gets the start in right field today. It's her second start of the season. Takes ball 1.
Yeah, I think that quick visit there from Coach Waldrop really just giving Hertenberger a chance to catch her breath. Try to focus her back in.
Called strike 1-1. Boone started 4 games in center field last year before a knee injury cut short her season. She's from Tulsa. Her brother Trevor plays baseball at Oklahoma State. 2-1. Coach Gasso has said, I think this is one of the strongest offenses I've ever had. If the fall is any indication, the outfield's going to be the best we've ever had. And he'd say Boone is a part of that.
Yeah, what she said about the outfield, the athleticism in the infield, and then just the arms they have in the circle. You're playing this Sooner team.
It falls in left. Loop base hit for Boone. Watt gets it back to the infield. Now 4 straight have reached, all with 2 outs.
And really a tough play for Lott there. That ball on the line, kind of in the middle of nowhere. The triangle, if you will.
Now a test for Hertenberger. She'll face the top of the order for the second time today. Jada Coleman wide out to left her first time. 2 on with 2 out. 2 in for Oklahoma here in the second. Which is outside. Coleman, the 2020 Gatorade National Softball Player of the Year, consensus #1 recruit from the Colony, Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Off-speed just misses down, and that's really the pitch that Rachel's been effective with. Not able to throw that first strike here through the last couple batters.
Called a franchise player, head coach Patty Gasso. She had the misfortune of her senior season ending early. She probably would have set some state and national records for runs scored, stolen bases. That's low. 2 balls, no strikes. Versatile player. Last weekend played right field, first base, shortstop, and center. She can also play second base. 3 3-0 with the dangerous Jennings on deck. 4-pitch walk. You've had a 5-pitch walk, a 4-pitch walk in the blue pit.
Yeah, and since that home run, just some struggle to find the zone, and it looks like we're going to have an early change by the Houston Cougars.
Haley Hudson, quite the debut. A true freshman, threw a no-hitter against Texas Southern last Saturday. Relieves Rachel Hertenberger here in the second. Tiara Jennings stands in. First pitch from Haley Hudson's low. Well, Hudson a no-hitter last weekend against Texas Southern. She comes out of the bullpen with the bases loaded, and the reigning National Player of the Week at the plate.
What a spot, right? Bases loaded, 2 outs, freshman on freshman. Good pitch there. Looks like just a little low. Zone might be a little tight here.
Give us your scouting report for Haley Hudson.
Hudson's going to be strong down with the drop ball. Showed some really good ability to move the ball in and out last week. And then the changeup. So a lot of what you're going to see from the Houston staff is the ability to move the ball around and then be good with the off speed. That's something that they spend a lot of time on in their limited fall practice and then early this spring. So a lot of drop down from Hudson today and some change.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Jennings, who flied out to right her first time. One of these 2 franchise players dubbed by Patty Gasso. High praise from the Hall of Famer in her 27th year, but Jennings and Coleman fit the billing. Gasso describes Jennings as a pure, powerful, clean, beautiful swing. Just foul, pass first. And like so many players with Oklahoma, Jennings, her power has grown since arriving in Norman. A lot of credit given to Dane Summer, the strength coach.
Absolutely, and honestly, one of the biggest changes I think you've seen in college softball over the last couple of years. 1, players coming in stronger, but 2, just the dedication to the weight room. You know, from these players, that the talent we're seeing across softball has just been impressive. I mean, we're seeing more athletes that are bigger, faster, stronger, and you see the home run numbers go up, you see the velo go up in the circle. So when you couple that kind of ability with the pace of play, it's just really a really exciting product to watch.
Up and down this Oklahoma roster, Taylon Snow, another player. Coach Gasso said, biggest transformation I've ever seen, from a slapper to a power hitter. That's line foul. Unfortunately, Snow not available due to the contact tracing. Again, Snow, Johns, Nicole Mendez, and pitcher Brooke Vestal not available today due to contact tracing within the Oklahoma program. But despite those 4 absences, Oklahoma just excited to play. Coach Gasso said midweek, if we're playing this weekend, we're celebrating. The 3-2. Foul back.
Yeah, Jennings, what a great at bat. And for a freshman, too, so disciplined, able to lay off a couple pitches, work the count full, and then fight off these pitches that are borderline 2 strikes. Just a really good at bat here. And a good sequence from Hudson. You know, speaking of being excited to play, I think you mentioned they flew commercial?
Yes.
To get here?
Yes.
Could you imagine in college basketball or football a team flying commercial for a game?
Softball players are a different breed. These coaches want to play. These teams want to compete. Bounce towards short. That's a base hit. A tying run comes in to score on a 3-2 single from Tiare Jennings. At plates Mackenzie Donahue. 3 runs, all coming with 2 outs for the Sooners here in the second.
Really just a good piece of hitting by Jennings. A great sequence all the way around. She's able to get that through. Queen on the diving play, just not able to get there.
The 13th RBI for Tiare Jennings in her true freshman season. Bases remain loaded for Jocelyn Allo. Line drive out to right, sinking for a base hit. The throw, offline, 2-run score. First pitch swinging, Jocelyn Allo makes it a 5-run inning for the Sooners.
Yeah, and Hudson leaves that changeup up a little bit. Allo able to stay back and just poke that into right field for a base hit. Hudson had her out on her front foot. And that's the thing with 2 outs, right? On contact, runners are going. Coleman easily able to score from second.
Kinsey Hansen now. She began the inning popping up to shortstop. 7 straight have reached with 2 outs. Oklahoma knocked out the starter, Rachel Hertenberger. And Hudson lost the battle to Jennings. Arlo on the first pitch out to right.
You talk about the versatility of this Oklahoma team. Hansen, as good as Elam is behind the plate, Hansen, who's at first today, has actually caught some as well, and maybe in line to take over that position once Elam graduates.
1-1 on Hansen. Played for OC Batbusters like many in this Oklahoma team. Number 6 recruit in the 2019 class, according to Extra Inning. A 5-run rally with 2 outs for the Sooners here in the second. And it's the outside. Hudson's from College Station, went to College Station High School. Her dad, Shane, played college football at Oklahoma State. Coach Vesley said she had 0 mistake pitches in her no-hitter against TSU last weekend.
Yeah, and that's really big, especially for a young pitcher. Early on, just being able to not miss in the middle of the zone, and that's, you know, something that's huge against this Oklahoma team. It's just not having those mistake pitches. They'll make you pay on good pitches, much less the ones that are right down the middle.
Second straight year, Houston's had a debutante throw a no-hitter. Last year it was Logan Hewlin against Valparaiso last February. Slap towards second. Holsey stays with it, and the inning is over. A 5-run rally for the Sooners, keyed by a 2-run shot from Grace Green. Going to the bottom of the second in Houston. Sooners 5, Cougars 3. Tiare Jennings, Big 12 Player of the Week, also the Louisville Slugger National Player of the Week. 12 for 13, 5 homers, 3 doubles, 30 total bases.
She had a month in 4 games. She had a month. I mean, it's really impressive. Again, you know, true freshman just coming in and being able to produce those type of numbers. And then on the defensive side, right, versatility, moving around, playing a couple different positions. Definitely showing that she's going to be a problem for years to come for other teams.
Katie Ray Brown stands in. Coach Gasso said, "I've never seen anything like that in my career for a freshman to do what she did." It's roped down the left field line. That will make it to the wall. Katie Ray Brown will dig for second. She's in there. A leadoff double for Katie Ray Brown brings life back to the Houston dugout.
Well, and that's exactly what you need for the Houston Cougars. You go ahead and take the lead. Unfortunately, not able to hold on to that. You give up a couple runs. You got to come out swinging the following inning. Try and flip that momentum if you can.
Houston must have some confidence as we see the swing from Katie Ray Brown. Juarez did not allow a hit last weekend in El Paso. They now have a homer and a double, first time through the order.
Well, it's that aggressiveness that Coach Vest talked about, right? So they've been aggressive so far all season. Just needed to be a little more choosy about the pitches they were aggressive with.
Free base, Katie Ray Brown up to third. Came off the glove of Lindsey Elam, a very sure-handed defensive catcher. 2019, 61 starts, 1 of 2 in program history with perfect fielding percentage. And that year she caught 9 of 17 would-be base stealers. Paige Lott, freshman, standing in with an RBI opportunity. At 333 last weekend, all 3 RBI came in her college debut in Game 1. A 14-1 victory for Houston.
And we talk about versatility for this OU team. Houston has some of that as well. We'll see a mix of players through the outfield. Paige Lott actually can play a couple different positions. She can also catch as well.
Out of Dayton High School, just northeast of Houston. 2-2.
You see Lott swinging through that pitch there. on the monitor and from the booth, looks like that pitch is down the middle. I spent some time in, I'm from Oklahoma, spent some time in Norman. I've watched quite a bit of this OU softball team. And G. Juarez, I swear she gets away with pitches in the middle of the zone more than any pitcher that I've seen. I guess something to do with being a lefty, just got some funkiness to it.
2 perfect games in that historic 2019 season for G. Juarez. On the USA Softball Collegiate Player of the Year watch list, 3rd straight year for her. Popped behind first, tough play, it falls foul. Hansen was closest to it, the first baseman for Oklahoma.
A bit of a bad read from Hansen there. You see her work more towards the wall instead of back. Tough play for a first baseman.
Well, we've seen for both these teams moving players around. I think due to COVID and contact tracing, they're trying to get players ready to play multiple positions. Good cut from Lott. So Hansen more of a natural catcher. What we saw last weekend with Jennings playing both middle infield positions, playing third today. Coleman playing all across the outfield and infield. Let's say contact tracing takes out a few of your players, and these players are ready to play a different position.
Absolutely, and that's something Coach Vest actually touched on earlier this year. Is leading up to this season, they had multiple practices of different scenarios, players in different positions, coaches handling practice that day. So definitely something you have to be prepared for this season.
Nice off-speed pitch from G. Juarez. Lott goes down swinging. Now it's Paige Holsey. They've experimented with different players as first and third base coaches, basically trying to expect the unexpected. Holsey came in as a defensive replacement game 2 against Lamar. Has stayed in there ever since. He called strike over the outside. She's from Tomball, just north of Houston. Went to Klein Oak High School. A good weekend last weekend. 333 with 3 runs batted in.
And Holsey taking 2 back-to-back pitches there. Interesting to see what kind of approach that is. I mean, what we've seen from her so far this year, obviously not a lot of pop, but the ability to hit the ball the other way. Good speed on the base paths.
Coach Vest wants a word. She'll speak with Holsey. Describes Holsey as a highly athletic player. Said what she likes about her, she's out hustling, out playing, and giving extraordinary effort at every play, which really is the Houston style of play.
Well, and it's also a good way to, find yourself in the lineup, especially when coaches feel that they know that they're getting everything you have, every time you step on the field.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts from Juarez. She went off speed against Lott. Threw a hard one at Holsey.
Yeah, and really just all she did was elevate that there. I mean, same line as the first 2 pitches, outer third. She just elevates the line. Holsey swings through that, not able to catch up.
Big spot now for Lindsey Stewart-Vaughn. Cougars do not want to strand Katie Ray Brown at third. She doubled to begin the inning, took third on the pass ball from Lindsay Elam. Lindsey Stewart-Vaughn began the rally in the first, a bunt base hit back to the circle.
Yeah, and these are really these situations are the difference, right? You have a runner on third with no outs, and if you're not able to get her in, I mean, that's tough, especially against this team. Whenever you have opportunity to score, you obviously got to take advantage of those.
Stewart-Vaughn is called 2021 senior year round 2. Expected last year to be her senior year. Was a homer shy of the cycle in the season opener against Lamar last Saturday. Was 5th in the AAC. Hit .404 last season. Inside, 2-1.
Really impressed with Stewart-Vaughn. I mean, she has at the plate showed us multiple different tools. Gap, power, led off the game with a bunt, showed her speed. Very impressive hitter so far this season.
Back towards second. Nice play in time. Spectacular defense. Mackenzie Donahue dove, made the backhand play, and a good throw to first to get Stewart Vaughn. Backhand to get the very speedy Lindsey Stewart Vaughn.
Yeah, once Donahue left her feet to dive for that, you could see that it was short. I really thought she had no chance to get Lindsey at first, but from her knees, quick transfer, able to get the throw over and get the out.
Saved a run, and now Grace Lyons stands in against Haley Hudson. Takes strike one. The Lions flied out to center her first time, now facing Hudson for the first time. She relieved Rachel Hertenberger when the Houston starter ran into trouble in the second. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The first time through the lineup, Hertenberger able to get these OU hitters to pop out, get them out on the front foot with the off speed. She started to get to that second time through the lineup, made some adjustments and started hitting the ball.
That stays high. Our Lions last weekend hit 2nd, 4th, 5th, and 9th. Hit 9th at UTEP and happened to hit 6 homers last weekend as Oklahoma hit 24 as a team.
Yeah, and again, I mean, with this lineup and their depth,
under the glove of Holsey, and Lyons is aboard to begin the third.
I think if you ask these players at Oklahoma if they really do, if they care where they hit in the lineup, I would imagine most of them don't. With the power and ability that they have, everyone's going to get to hit.
Now it's Lindsey Elam. She began the rally in the second. It was 2 outs, base is empty. Hertenberger had retired the first 5 Sooners, but her base hit to left ignited the rally. Hertenberger did not record another out. And 5 runs came across for Oklahoma.
Yeah, Elam jumped on a drop ball that didn't really have good down movement, a little up in the zone, laced one into left field, and team took it from there.
Hit 300 last weekend, a triple, 4 runs scored. I mentioned the errorless season in 2019. She lifts this out to right, carrying and caught in right by Bethany Bush. Quickly back to first is line. Did not allow a stolen base for the final 43 games of that 2019 season.
That's something that's got to make you feel comfortable as a pitcher. It's all right if somebody gets on. I don't think they're going to try to steal, and if they do,
Grace Green now had a 2-run homer, her first at bat of the season, out to left. That was off Hertenberger. Was dinged up last weekend, did not travel to El Paso, but the Big 12 Freshman of the Year, 3rd-team All-American 2 years ago. Quite the debut to 2021. The 25th homer of the season for Oklahoma.
Yeah, not a bad first at bat, first hit, first home run. Pretty good way to start it off.
And with their team trailing 3-0. The first deficit of the season for Oklahoma. 4-run rule victories last weekend in El Paso. Our first full inning for Hudson. How do you think she settled in coming out to begin the third?
Well, the drop ball is what we've come to expect from her. Struggling with the changeup a little bit. Looks like she's not finishing that pitch and is starting to sell on her. Seen a couple times Katie Ray Brown make some gestures about finishing that pitch. So if she can get the changeup to be more effective, the drop ball down, I think she has a chance to keep Houston in this game.
Houston showing signs against G. Juarez. Booming 3-run homer from Sarah Queen in the first over the second wall in center field. Loud double from Katie Ray Brown. They've made her work. She threw nearly 30 pitches in the first inning. Hit by pitch. Now Grace Green will take first. Hit her right in the right hand.
Yeah, I think Coach Vest is going to come out and argue about her actually making an attempt to swing at that pitch.
Home plate umpire is Robert Gonzalez this afternoon.
Maybe we'll get another replay there. Hard to see from that if she did actually make an attempt.
Coach Vest told us this week, if we don't beat ourselves, we will be in the game. She was right about that.
And she definitely held up there. So good call by the home plate umpire.
Coach Vest said we have to keep it in the park. Offensively, we have to stay aggressive. Don't get stuck with the name on the front of the opposition's jersey. Mackenzie Donahue made the great defensive play to end the bottom of the second inning. Backhand stop on a short line drive. And a good throw to get Lindsey Stewart-Vaughn. Bluffs a bunt, takes ball one. Donahue from Mustang, Oklahoma, Mustang High School. 2 for 4 last weekend at El Paso. Walked after the green homer in the second. Two and 0.
Hudson just struggling a little bit to find the zone with the drop ball. Missed down on pitch one, missed up there. You know, it's interesting as a pitcher, I think it's difficult sometimes when someone's squared around a bunt to just throw the ball over the plate. Right? They're trying to put the ball in play and give themselves up. They're going to take if if it's not close. And still, it's so difficult for pitchers just to throw the ball over the plate and let them bunt it.
That just missed. 3 balls, no strikes. Houston has struggled against the bottom part of the order. The rally in the second began with Elam hitting 6th. Done a pretty good job in the early going against the top of the order. 4-pitch walk.
And again, a part of that is, like you said, the versatility of this offense. Already in 5 games, you've seen hitters move up and down the order. So wouldn't necessarily say it's your traditional, got to watch out for the 1 through 4. Anybody at any point in this lineup can definitely do damage.
Coach Gasso said it's a thankless job being a pitcher on this staff. They were tired of facing them in the fall and the early spring workouts. There's not really any room to breathe for the opposition 1 through 9 against Oklahoma. Riley Boone will stand in. A blue base hit to left her first time. Getting an opportunity to play right field today, her second start of the season.
It looks like Coach Gasso is going to have somebody run here.
Off the bench to run, Kinsey Kelso, the junior from Tuttle, Oklahoma. She'll run for Green.
Second base, number 1, Kinsey Kelso.
Lyons at third, Kelso at second, Donahue at first after her walk. Boone stands in. Bases loaded, 1 out, hits it to second. Holsey will come home in time. Good stretch by the catcher Katie Ray Brown as they get Grace Lyons at home.
And a great play by Paige Holsey. That ball wasn't hit very hard, able to come up, catch, make that throw, and Katie Ray Brown playing a little first at home.
Interestingly, we spoke with Coach Vest this week. There was a similar play against Lamar in the loss. I think at the time it was 5-2. There was 1 out, not a forced play at home. Holsey went to first on Katie Ray Brown's direction. That time on a forced play, she comes home and gets the out. Jada Coleman now takes strike 1.
Yeah, in that situation, last weekend, one of those things, offense so far on the day had been producing, even though they were behind at the time. So you take the sure outs, give up the run, thinking that your offense has a chance to, to get you guys back in that game.
Coleman to second. Holsey on the infield, flips it to short. Benavides with the force out. Back-to-back plays from Paige Holsey. All leather from the Houston second baseman.
I think
just ahead of Riley Boone, the force play. Similar to Houston, Oklahoma strands the bases loaded after Houston had the runner at third, nobody out situation, did not break through against G. Juarez. Lifted to right by Bethany Bush. Carrying. It is gone! Bethany Bush, a solo shot. Houston down a run.
Well, I'm glad I caught myself. I was about to mention how tough it is for these lefties against Juarez. Her ability to move the ball across the plate. You know, started at these hitters, moved it across the outer half of the plate. And Bush, ball in that, looked like it might have been on the outer half. It's a little up, and she gets the bottom half of that one, and it's gone. Ball's up in the zone. Bush, nice flat back half, gets to the middle bottom half of that ball. And it looks like anything going out to that center right field area is going to leave if it's up.
Now it's Queen first pitch swinging. She fouls it back. Queen had a 3-run homer over the second wall in center field in the first inning. 2 homers off Juarez for Houston today. And Juarez did not allow a hit last weekend in 2 3-inning outings against UTEP and Abilene Christian. Bethany Bush, her first homer of the season, used to be a slapper like so many in college softball, from slapper to power hitter. 0-2.
Yeah, and really that's, you know, a tribute to the hitting coach, Lexi Elkins, and what she's done since she's come to this Houston program and what she's been able to get out of these hitters.
Queen fouls it back. The Queen last year, 4 homers, but 2018, her best season. 10 homers, 10 doubles, led the American with the .580 slugging percentage, drew 44 walks. First team in the American. This is hammered down the left field line. Nearly a sliding catch made by Alo, but she couldn't get there as she slid onto the warning track.
And really not what you want from G. Juarez on an 0-2 pitch. I mean, that ball just too much of the plate. Queen, I think, feeling herself a little bit, been very aggressive at the plate today. It's going to take a good pitch to get her to swing and miss.
Queen down on strikes. I think Queen thought she made contact. She looks towards the dugout with some confusion.
Yeah, not really sure what she thought happened there. I think you're right, guy. We have to assume she thought she fouled that off. Well, Juarez dialing one up when she needed it there. One of the things this Houston team's been good about today is not chasing that rise ball up. Queen, as aggressive as she's been, not able to lay off that pitch up in the zone.
Now it's Brittany Shaw, takes ball 1. Shaw, really impressive weekend against Lamar and Texas Southern. Popped up, back to the circle her first time. Really calm presence from the right-handed batter's box.
And again, back to that rise ball. So this is the thing that we talked with Coach Vess about is the aggressiveness versus aggressive hittable pitches, right? And one of the things that makes Juarez so good is her ability to move that ball up through the zone.
Nice location there for 1 and 2, and Coach Vess seemed a little disappointed in some of the selection from her hitters last weekend.
Right, and that's the thing. It's early, you know. As the season progresses, hitters are going to get better about hitting or swinging at their pitches. So one of those things that takes a little time in a few games.
Nice pitch, swing and a miss. Hustle down to first. Strikeout, wild pitch, and Houston has the tying run aboard with Benavides standing in.
Yeah, and really a good pitch by Juarez. Not something you're expecting a hitter to swing at, but off speed down in the dirt. And generally from Elam, with the experience and ability behind the plate, you know, as a pitcher, you're going to trust, you know, someone like Elam to actually block that ball. So rare for something like one of those to get away from her.
Benavides good at bat against Juarez, worked the count full before she flied out to center. Pops it up back towards us. That will land in the fourth row. Pass lists only for spectators here at the Cougar Softball Stadium. Basically friends and family allowed in. Trying to be as careful as possible with the pandemic.
It's still nice to see some fans in the stands. I mean, whether you have, can have 10 or 5, whatever it is, I mean, just being able to have people in the stands is great.
Back to Juarez, throws to second. The return throw not in time. The force out retires Shaw. Benavides on with 2 outs for Katie Repa.
The designated player number 40, Katie Repa.
Repa flied out to center her first time. Houston with 3 extra base hits against G. Juarez here in game 1. And they saw a lot in that first inning. She threw nearly 30 pitches, queened the 3-run homer. Katie Ray Brown led off the second with the double, and then Bethany Bush, her first homer of the season here to begin the third.
Yeah, and really an interesting, difference between the first inning and the second inning. Houston hitters laying off pitches that, aren't good pitches to swing at that second inning, and we've seen it even a little bit here in the third, maybe a little too aggressive on pitches out of the zone. But, I think as a coach, you'd rather have to rein them in a little bit than try to get them going.
Swing and a miss, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Repa began her career at Stephen F. Austin in the Southland Conference. Transferred to Houston. Lifted to right. Boone coming on. Boone battling the wind, makes the catch, and the side is retired. Houston gets a run back. Bethany Bush, her first homer of the year. A good one here in Houston in game 1. Oklahoma 5, Houston 4. As Tiare Jennings loops the first one out to shallow right. Another play for Paige Holsey, who battled that fierce wind. Don't hit it near Paige Holsey if you're Oklahoma right now.
She has shown that second base is not a place to get a hit right now. Really good pitch by Haley Hudson. She struggled here so far to get the changeup under control. There she's able to throw it for a first pitch strike and get a pop out.
Good work from Hudson. Before that, Hertenberger. Tiare Jennings, reigning National Player of the Week, 1 for 3 today. So she's made more outs today than all of last weekend in El Paso. Jocelyn Allo will stand in now, 1 for 2. Drove in 2 with a base hit to right. Part of the 5-run rally in the second for the Sooners. That's lifted to right, into the wind, carrying, and gone. An opposite field shot for Jocelyn Allo, who continues to climb the all-time Oklahoma homer leaderboard.
I couldn't tell. It looked like that might have been an off-speed pitch. It was either off-speed that stayed up or a curveball away that just wasn't away enough. And, with this wind, anything that's elevated is got a chance to get out to right field. But with Allo, anything elevated has a chance to get out.
Her 4th homer this season, her 58th career homer, a 4th all-time, 7 away from second place. 6-4 as Kinsey Hansen stands in. Let's see how Hudson responds after the solo shot to the opposite field. That's ripped just foul, about 6 inches foul down the left field line from Hansen.
From OU here, the interesting thing is the answer, right? So that bottom of the first, give up 3 runs, come right back out, you score 5. In the bottom of the third, give up the solo home run. Leadoff hitter, second batter of the inning comes out, you answer with the solo home run. That kind of counter punch, really makes a team like Oklahoma so dangerous. They're never, a team that's never out of it, if you will, that championship mindset.
Now 26 homers in 5 games for the Sooners here in 2021. Hansen chased the elevated pitch. It's 1-2.
Yeah, really good there by Haley Hudson to throw the rise ball up. No, you don't see that much from her. We'll see a little bit more of the curve, rise ball up in good situations. You know, really is going to hammer the ball down, which makes that, when you go to the rise, just that much more effective.
The 1-2. Lifted to center. Stuart Vaughn tracking it. 2 outs. Kinsey Hansen's 0 for 3. Wind blowing out to right about 14 miles an hour.
I think the Weather Channel might be wrong looking at that flag.
Yeah, the American flag in right center. Gusting very well, and the way that carried off the bat of Alo. Now it's Grace Lyons. Takes ball 1.
Yeah, and seeing some of the balls that Jocelyn Alo has hit throughout her career, the last thing she needs is any win to help her.
Lyons singled her last time. A fly out to center before that. There's a base hit to center. Stuart Vaughn tracks it down in the alley. Second hit today for Grace Lyons, who now has 12 hits and 18 at-bats on the season. Lindsey Elam now, the Sooner catcher. There was 2 outs, bases empty. Oklahoma down 3-0. She singled on the first pitch off Rachel Hertenberger, and then just a few batters later, 5 were on the board for Oklahoma.
And no let up in this OU offense.
Haley Hudson, a late addition to the recruiting class a couple years ago out of College Station High School. Coach Vest called her a much-needed piece to the puzzle. That's hammered to left, but right at Paige Lott, and the side is retired. Nice work.
You know, sometimes the best players don't always make the best coaches, and sometimes people that weren't very good are good coaches. And but it's good to see a coaching staff that has playing experience, playing success, but also is willing to learn, you know, and continue to grow it. And, you know, you talk to either one of these coaches, assistant coaches in particular, about how they work with players and what they teach and believe in. And, you know, it's not just well, do it this way because this is how I was taught or this is what I did. They both continued to grow and learn and in order to coach players and make them better.
Katie Ray Brown at the plate for the second time against G. Juarez. Doubled down the left field time, her first time up. Katie Ray Brown expected to have a big role this season. Had a stretch last year. A 10-hit span, 9 of the 10 hits were home runs.
Right, I think, you know, we talked about it prior to the game. Expectations, I think, for herself this season were big, coming off of what she did last year. Maybe early, just a little pressing at the plate in terms of some of that pitch selection and some of the swings that she was taking. But after that first at bat today, or the double, sorry, her last at bat, it looks like she may have settled in a little bit, and you know, this Houston team needs to get her going.
Hit softly to second. Donahue. A backhand flip to first to retire Katie Ray Brown. Fun to watch these infielders. They make it look easy. This is Donahue making her first start of the season. Had the backhand play on Lindsey Stewart Vaughn, a critical play in this game with Katie Ray Brown at third and 2 outs. And then her second base opponent, Paige Polsey, has made a few fine plays up the middle for Houston. Paige Lott fouls it back. Good hustle from Elam. She nearly got there before crashing into the screen.
You know, and that's something that this Oklahoma team has done well, especially over the last couple of seasons. It's just played really good defense. You know, Coach Gasso even talked about the athleticism that they have this year, and we've already seen a little bit of their versatility. It makes it a lot easier to pitch, you know, be in and around the zone a lot when you know that if they do put it in play, it's a good chance it's going to be an out.
Foul back. Oklahoma yet to commit an error this season. Lott struck out in the first time up against G. Juarez. She swung through an off-speed pitch after Katie Ray Brown led off with the double and took third on the pass ball. 6 for Oklahoma, a 5-run second. They added a 6th run in the top of this inning off the bat of Allo. It's softly to third. Jennings over to first.
Looks like she may have got that off her foot. Yeah, going to bring her back to the box for that. Really good call by the third base umpire. I don't think anyone else saw that.
John Scott's over at third. Jared Arrington's at first. Robert Gonzalez behind the plate. It's Coach Vess over at third.
Gonna have to ask Coach Vess about the shades. Not a lot of sun right now.
Doesn't want to give an inch to her former coach, Patty Gasso. They spoke 10 to 12 times. By the time we spoke with Coach Vess, that was Friday. It was still about 48 hours before this doubleheader began. Travel plans, power outages around Houston, the winter storm affecting Oklahoma. Supposed to come down and play Sam Houston up the road in Huntsville. They've had 5 or 6 different plans, trips canceled. They went to El Paso last weekend. Teams unable to play due to the pandemic or travel or weather issues. That's roped to right. Nice break and catch made out there by Riley Boone, who was shaded into the alleyway.
The second base number 44, Paige Holsey.
Lott retired, now Paige Holsey.
And really, I mean, good piece of hitting for 2 strikes. You know, get a pitch on the lower outer half of the zone, able to take that to right field. Good play all the way around.
Holsey struck out swinging her first time up against Juarez. She fouls at that.
And good to see Halsey swinging the first pitch strike there. That, you know, definitely a pitch that she should hit. A little tentative, I think, the first at bat for her. I watched 2 good pitches go by, then chase one up in the zone. So good adjustment from Halsey this second at bat.
First time she's worked into the 4th inning this season for G. Juarez. Different outcomes the first few times. They didn't need her to go beyond the 3rd. They wanted to get some work for this deep pitching staff with 7 available pitchers. 29-0 they beat UTEP in her first start. 11-0 against UTEP her second time out. But she's been tested by Houston today, which began with the small ball, and then they've used the long ball as well. Popped up, shallow right, Donahue, and shallow right called off by the right fielder Riley Boone. And the side is retired. The first 1-2-3 inning today for G. Juarez.
Craziest thing, the craziest stat that I've seen from them, undefeated in the last 54 conference series.
Going back to 2011.
Yeah, I mean, that is unbelievable. I mean, to be that consistent and that dominant, especially with the talent that we're seeing in the Big 12 right now.
Now, Grace Green, arguably the biggest swing today for either team. It was 3-0 Houston. 2 outs, 1 on. Green, a 2-run shot. Maybe rattled Hurtenberger just a bit. She never recorded another out. That was the first at bat of the season for Green.
Yeah, which is interesting, you know. Coach Vess talked about the competitive nature of Rachel Hurtenberger and her ability to handle moments like that, but after the home run, just not able to gather herself and get back into the zone.
Green hit by a pitch in her second plate appearance. 3 balls, 1 strike. Hudson's done a pretty good job. She came on in the second, limited the damage somewhat, gave up the opposite field shot to Allo, but has really kept Oklahoma off balance.
I really think a confidence boost for the young freshman. First outing, no hitter. Comes in a tight situation, though. She gave up the hit to right field. It really kind of shut it down after that. And only one run since, and she's been competitive in the zone and been effective so far.
Full count on Green. Line drive into center. It makes it to the wall. Lindsey Stewart-Vaughn quickly back to the infield. They hold Green to a single. Green on base for the 3rd straight time.
And really just a product there of getting behind in the count. go from 3-0 to full needing to throw something over the plate. And with these OU hitters, if you're in the middle of the zone, it's going to be tough to get them out.
Here's the courtesy runner again. This time it's
changes from Oklahoma. Pitch running in first, number 25, Rayleigh Pogue.
Rayleigh Pogue. It was Ketso last time that Green reached base. And Peg, the pinch runner. Sophomore from Washington, Oklahoma. Interestingly, think of all the talent Oklahoma has. As Donahue shows bunt. Takes a strike. And Coach Vest called her one of the best recruiters in the country. Coach Vest also said that Coach Gasso is probably the best in-game manager in the sport.
Well, you've seen how much, moving pieces she's used today. Obviously, you talked about the changes that they've made throughout, the couple games
Off
already.
the glove of Queen, spills towards second. They'll throw to Green. Now a run down. Throw to second. The center fielder, Stuart Vaughn, not in time. It looked like the ball beater there. Maybe she got around the tag.
Not sure what the umpire saw there. What a great play by Lindsey Von Stewart. So that's actually the center fielder who came in and made that play at second base. And maybe if we get a replay, she might have been under the tag. Also, the hitter actually hit the ground before she hit the ball. Based off that replay there, I'm not exactly sure what the umpire saw. Looks like an out from here.
Yeah, to the naked eye in real time, it looked like Stuart Vaughn caught it before Pogue dove back to second. Scored a base hit off the glove of Sarah Queen.
A lot of action on that play there, and I know we didn't get to cover it with the review, but I'm pretty sure Mackenzie Donahue actually hit the ground before she hit the ball.
Coach Gasso will talk things over. Jennifer Rocha is the associate head coach. JT Gasso, Patty Gasso's son, part of the coaching staff. Now Hudson will have to dig deep. First and second, nobody out. Riley Boone stands in from the left side. A single and a fielder's choice her first two trips. Ball one.
And Boone showed bunt there. This is one of the areas where Coach Vest mentioned, Coach Gasso being a great in-game manager. Look for her to do something here. I mean, my time watching OU softball, the double steals, the hit and run. I mean, there's something she's always trying to, take that extra 60 feet if she can, no matter what the score is.
Excellent bunt. Queen, no play. It just fell dead about 4 feet in front of home plate. Textbook bunt from Boone. Now the base is loaded, nobody out for Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's really a tough play. I mean, Queen was already crashing on that. She gets to it before Brown does, and I'm not sure even if Katie Ray gets to that she has a play at first. She would have to get around that ball, get her feet squared first, be able to make a throw. Just a perfectly executed bunt by Boone.
Now Jada Coleman with the bases loaded, nobody out. Good pitch for strike one.
Absolutely, and again, Hudson showing the off-speed, a pitch that she's really been working on this offseason. Her ability to throw that for the strike is going to be huge for her.
Coleman 0 for 2 with a walk. Bounces it up the middle. That's a base hit. The throw is cut off. 2-run score on the single from Jada Coleman. Oklahoma stretches the lead to 8-4.
And that play at second base, really tough. I mean, that would have been the first out of the inning. You have one runner on instead of two. Changes the bunt situation with Boone.
RBI 7 and 8 on the season for Coleman. Now Tiare Jennings in from the right side. Jennings 1 for 3, an RBI single. The first batter Hudson faced out of the bullpen was Jennings. Jennings has also flied to right and popped up to second.
Really good pitch from Hudson there. And one of the things I was interested in seeing if she could do this weekend against this OU team is actually work in and down with the drop. From some of the video we watched on OU, just hitting the ball up, you leave the ball up, they're going to crush that. Haven't seen anyone really try to challenge them down and in yet.
2 balls, 1 strike. Coach Gasso said she wasn't wowed by it. Her performance, 12 for 13 last weekend with 5 homers and 3 doubles in El Paso. Out to right center, off the glove of Bush. 9-4 Oklahoma as Boone scores. Nice track from Bush, but she couldn't squeeze it.
Yeah, and that's tough there. I mean, she shaded towards the line. Ball's hit into the gap. I mean, good effort by Bush. Fortunately, not able to hang on. And that's something you have. That's a play you have to make in these situations.
Scored a hit, the 12th today for Oklahoma. Jennings now with 14 RBIs early on in her freshman season. Jocelyn Allo takes ball 1, an opposite field homer off Hudson back in the 4th.
And you can just feel this stadium right now. Once this OU team gets rolling, they are tough to stop.
Bounce to second. Holsey flips to Benavides. No throw to first. That's the first out of the inning. Jennings is forced out. First and third, 1 out for Kinsey Hansen.
And we've touched on this before, but one of the most interesting aspects I feel like about softball is that play in particular, right? So you have a force out at second, routine ground ball to the second baseman, and you only get 1 out of it. And in baseball, as a pitcher, you're looking for that. Anytime you have a run on first, you're hoping for that exact play. And I think it's just another interesting aspect about the pace of this game.
Hansen stands in. 0 for 3 so far. Rips it just past third. Coleman leapt out of the way on the foul side of third.
I really like that sequence right there, too. I mean, first pitch changeup, OU team, some momentum. They're being aggressive at the plate. Able to get Hansen out on the front foot and get a first pitch strike.
One and 1. Coach Gasso called Hansen the complete package. Power hitter in the catcher position, playing first base today. Great mentor to learn from, and the veteran Lindsey Elam, the senior catcher for the Sooners. Bunted. Again, no play. First and third, a bunt base hit. And now Houston will throw down to second, a rundown with Hansen tagged out by Lindsey Stewart-Vaughn, but taking third was Allo on the bunt base hit.
And you talk about, in-game decisions right there. OU's up 9-4, still executing a squeeze play with Hansen at the plate, the last thing you'd expect from them in that situation. And then Alo with aggressive base running goes from first to third on that. And I mean, if you're Coach Gasso, I don't think you could draw that up any better.
Gasso is from California, began her coaching career at Long Beach City College. Now Lyons stands in, takes ball one. So this team, 24 homers entering play today. They've hit 2 more, but they got a West Coast feel to them at times with the style of play.
Well, and I think part of that too is, you know, when Coach Gasso sees opportunities to work on those situational things, she takes advantage of that, and those show up later in the season and show up in the postseason when you're in a one-run ball game and you need to be able to execute the squeeze play or your hit and run. Those are things that are practiced throughout the season. So, despite the lead, really a good time to call that and work on that situation.
Swing and a miss, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lyons 2 for 3. A single in each of her last 2 trips. She had 28 total bases last weekend, 2 shy of her freshman teammate Jennings. 2-2. Lyons has mentored Tiara Jennings. Partners up the middle. Jennings playing third base today. Foul back. When you think of the pressure and expectation for Lyons, a true freshman a couple of years ago, starting shortstop on a team that lost in the Champ Series to UCLA.
Yeah, and I think, you know, for her this season, one, just being able to play softball again, it has to be huge. But I mean, for this team, you know, returning to Oklahoma City is, I think, right there at the top of the list.
There's a base hit into left. Alo scores from third. It's a 5-run 5th inning. And 3 more hits today for Grace Lyons.
Yeah, and really just a tough pitch there from Hudson. I mean, when you're ahead in the count, that's just not a spot that you can miss it.
Lindsey Elam. Base is empty, 2 outs in the second. She got the first hit off Hurtenberger, and now Oklahoma with 14 hits. Good pitch, swing and a miss from Elam.
I would say that right there is an example of something we haven't seen much from Hudson today, and that's getting the swings and misses on the drop ball that we saw that last weekend. Not as much depth, doesn't look like this outing.
Lifted to right. Bethany Bush puts it away. A 5-run 5th for Oklahoma. The Sooners up 7 here in Game 1 in Houston. It's doubleheader. Matt Peterson with Kyle Wormington. Oklahoma trailed 3-0, but a pair of 5-run innings and the Sooners lead 11-4, and that is it for Giselle Juarez. She goes 4 innings today, and now she passes the ball to Macy McAdoo, the sophomore righty from Tuttle, Oklahoma. She was singled out this week by Coach Gasso with media. In her midweek comment said, Macy McAdoo stood out for me in El Paso. McAdoo, 2 appearances, 2 innings, allowed 1 hit, no walks, 2 strikeouts for the sophomore righty. First pitch taken for a ball by Lindsay Stewart-Vaughn. Juarez, 3 innings twice last weekend, goes 4 today. Still coming all the way back after the bicep surgery limited her to just 7 innings all of last year.
Yeah, Juarez getting some more work today, and not sharp early, not what we've seen from her before, but seemed to settle in, you know, as the game went on, and got a lot more effective early in the count and with the rise ball later. So expect to see her return to full form here shortly.
McAdoo last year, 10 appearances, 3 starts, a 4.85 ERA, 20 hits allowed in 21 innings. Stewart-Vaughn pops it up, first base out. Here comes Hansen, cannot make the catch in front of the Houston dugout.
And some of these pop-ups today have been really tough to track for some of these infielders.
14-mile-an-hour winds out to right. Feel like Hansen's still learning that position. You need her in there for her bat. I think more of a catcher growing up, but sharing that position this year with Elam. McAdoo, you think live arm. I think of her. It's an effortless motion. It feels like that arm can go any direction she wants.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, definitely a long. I mean, she's listed at 6 foot long. You can see the stride length out to the end of the circle, and it really does seem to jump out of her hand.
7 pitchers for Oklahoma. Coach Gasso has said, I'll need each of the 7. G. Juarez, of course, the face of the staff. Going back the last few seasons, Shannon Sale led the group with 7 innings last year. But besides Juarez and Sale, the rest of the 7 pitchers are underclassmen. McAdoo, a sophomore, Vestal, Beatty, Nicole May, who might start game 2, a true freshman. And a walk, good eye from Lindsay Stewart-Vaughn.
I think most coaches would have, you know, you think about 7 arms. How do you get them enough innings? How do you give them enough time in the circle? But, you know, with the offense like this and the runs they're able to put up, even though that could short games at times, it makes it a little bit easier for you to put underclassmen and young pitchers in to get them some time and get them some innings.
Here's Bethany Bush. Takes a called strike. Impressive swing against G. Juarez back in the 3rd. A solo homer to center field. She had the bunt base hit off Juarez in the 1st. Three hits today for Bethany Bush.
I'm really impressed with her. I know we've talked about this a couple times, and I still just am really impressed. The fact that she is a converted slapper. I mean, really smooth looking swing from the left side. Constantly on plane.
Now Sarah Queen. In this situation in the 1st, she hit a towering homer to center off G. Juarez. Well, Coach Vess knew what she was saying a couple weeks ago. We spoke to her before the opener. She said Sarah Queen can handle any pitching in the country. She's that good. And sure enough, she takes G. Juarez deep her first time up today.
Absolutely. And you know, she talked about Queen being a gamer, right? So getting her in the box against good competition, she's someone that is going to show up and perform.
That hits Queen on the hand. She takes first. The base is loaded for Houston as they try to stay in this one. Down 7 in the 5th in game 1.
And I love that from Sarah Queen right there. McAdoo looks like she's bringing it this afternoon, and Queen didn't even flinch that. Not even shaking her hand at first.
Associate head coach Jennifer Rocha, a word with her sophomore, McAdoo, after the first 3 have reached walk, single, hit by pitch.
Yeah, and I don't personally know Coach Rocha, but I have been in McAdoo's side of this. Those talks aren't always fun, especially with a lead like this. I mean, all you're expecting from pitchers to go out and just put the ball over the plate. I always thought it'd be fun for them to mic up coaches for the mound visits.
It would be great. We'd enjoy it. Well, keep an eye on this confrontation. Shaw has opposite field power. That's the scouting report from Coach Vess. And the wind is blowing out to right field. So if she can elevate something to right, Houston could pull within 3.
That would be interesting to see how that works out. McAdoo looked like she's tried to go heavy screw in to the right-handed hitter so far.
Big cut from Shaw, fouls it back, 0-2.
And she gets ahead with that first pitch and then goes right back to the screw in. I wouldn't expect to see anything away from McAdoo here. Probably see something up in the zone. See if she can get shot at Chase.
Coach Vest told us she was very happy for Shaw after her big weekend last year. Did a good job on her mental game, staying positive. Said she'll continue to shock people this season. Needs to get a little more choosy at the plate. Pops that one straight back towards the circle. Who's going to take it?
No.
Some confusion there down at second. Safe at third. Is the infield fly rule in effect?
Yes, yeah, so infield fly on that, bases loaded, no outs.
Gasso will come out and talk things over with the umpire
Right,
crew.
so hitter should be out, and then I believe Sarah Queen should be out. Looked like she was tagged at second.
Gasso spoke with Gonzalez. Now she'll come over and speak with the first base umpire, Jared Arrington. Every pop-up is an adventure today. We've seen foul territory, fair territory. Don't call anything a can of corn today in Houston.
Absolutely not. I mean, it's interesting too. McAdoo just got out of the way, expecting the infield to make a play. Looked like Jennings ranged all the way over from third and wasn't able to get to that. So, yep, that's the correct call. So Shaw is out on the infield fly, and then Queen was tagged out trying to advance. So that'd be 2 outs.
Brock Benavides now from the right side. Big shot here for Houston with 2 in scoring position.
And really a tough break for Houston there. I mean, to have a chance to get back in this game, probably need to take the infield fly, just keep it, everyone stay on their base. But
did Shaw expand the zone too much there?
I don't think so. I mean, she saw that ball up, just got under it a little bit. I mean, if she hedges a little more to the middle of that ball, that might be with her power, it could be a grand slam, double in the gap. So I think a good pitch to swing at, just got too much at the bottom.
Foul back. That's a ancient rule in baseball and softball that the pitcher should vacate. Do you like that teaching method that you let your other infielders make that catch?
I mean, I guess it differs from play to play. I personally I had an agreement with my second baseman. Unless it was right back at me, he was coming to get it, And the general rule is if it's in front of you, you go get it. If it's past you, you get out of the way. It's a lot easier, obviously, for a corner infielder or middle infielder to come in than it is for you as a pitcher, especially in baseball. Obviously, with the mound, trying to go back over the mound to make a play.
Strike 3 called over the inside. A nice response from McAdoo after a threat from the Cougs. On to the 6th in game 1, 11-4 Sooners. First at bat of the season for Pooney. To short, Benavides to her left. Nice play.
Really some great defensive plays made here this afternoon, especially for a game that's had 15 runs scored.
Pooney, part of the 2020 class, Carson, California.
Another California kid. It's really impressive how many players that Coach Gasso is able to get to move from California to Norman, Oklahoma.
Well, she started in the junior college ranks. She's a California native, Torrance, California, the LA area, and started her coaching career at Long Beach City College. Deep ties to Long Beach. she got the job at Oklahoma, she brought a bunch of her junior college players with her to Norman.
Well, and it helps when you can sell national attention and national championships.
Donahue's been outstanding today. Infield hit plus 2 walks. Drives this to right. That's into the wind stream. It's gone. A perfect day at the plate for Mackenzie Donahue. An opposite field shot to right. It's 12-4 Oklahoma.
Yeah, and just a great piece of hitting there. Ball in the outer half. She goes with it, able to elevate it into the wind, and another home run for Oklahoma.
"24 homers last weekend in El Paso, 3 this afternoon. In the first game of the season, they had 7 different players with a homer. Donahue, that's her second homer. Didn't start a game last weekend, still went deep. Oh, it's Riley Boone.
And in 6 innings here, OU has showed us all the different parts of their game, right? We've seen the squeeze, aggressiveness on the base pass, and the long ball.
Another hit for Boone. Had the bunt base hit. Wonderful piece of hitting. Big part of the 5-run 5th inning. Also singled in the 2nd. Her 3rd hit today. It's her 2nd start of the season. But with 4 players out for Oklahoma due to contact tracing, these reserves have really stepped up. Donahue and Boone, 8 and 9 in the order, with 6 hits combined.
I was getting ready to say, you touched on that earlier, just the amount of production out of the bottom half of the lineup.
Looked like it would have been safe either way, but it pops out of the glove of Holsey. It was a nice job out of the circle from Hudson, who got to it quickly, made it a close play as Jada Coleman laid down the bunt.
And, up 12-4 and still laying down the bunt, still utilizing situational hitting. And it's just stuff you're going to see from OU all year long.
Coleman, tremendous speed, had 209 steals in her career at the Colony High School up in Dallas-Fort Worth. And again, she was in contention to be in position to set some state and national records before her senior season cut short last year due to the pandemic. "17 hits for Oklahoma." Called strike, 1-1 on Jennings.
And that's really tough on a pitching staff, right? I mean, if you miss, there's a chance you're not getting it back. If you make a good pitch, there's a chance you're still giving up a hit. So tough to be effective against this Oklahoma offense.
Jennings played on OC Batbusters with fellow signees Nicole May, freshman righty, and Zeta Pooney, who we just saw pinch hit. Three and one.
And Hudson starting to look a little gas here, having some trouble finding the zone, leaving a lot of pitches up.
First and second, 1 out. And the top of the 6th. Fouled off.
I think this is actually, one of the tough parts for Houston, and something that they're going to have to battle this year, only having 4 arms. They're slated, I believe it's for 9 games over the next week or so. And you have to, one, be able to get through all those games and still be healthy and still find some rest. Something that could be tough to do with only 4 arms.
And that's just foul. And really, for underclassmen arms, and after last year, the pandemic shortened season, they could ramp up in the fall, but nothing like a situation like this, facing Oklahoma and approaching 90 pitches.
Right, and you miss out on some of the fall games that normally would be played, maybe some early preseason games in the spring. You really are limited to inter squads, and then with what happened in terms of total bodies that this Houston team has. At times in your inner squad, you have pitchers play positions, had to have some pitchers hit. So really not what you would want out of your preseason either.
Hudson battling Jennings. Full count with 1 out. Swing and a miss. A confidence-building battle there for Hudson, striking out the reigning National Player of the Week.
Yeah, really good sequence from Hudson. It looked like she had kind of lost it there early, able to focus back in and get Jennings to go down swinging.
First strikeout for Haley Hudson. Now is Jocelyn Allo, opposite field home run in the 4th, her 4th of the season. And take strike 1.
And one thing that we haven't, touched on today, we keep talking about this Oklahoma offense and just what a job done by hitting coach JT Gasso. I mean, the recruiting and the talent you're able to bring in, but then just their ability to continue to get better while they're in this program and grow as hitters.
Allo pops it up high in the infield. Fulsey has a beat on it. And the side is retired. Good work again by Hudson to limit the damage last week or so here in Southeast Texas.
I mean, I didn't mind it so much. It was just kind of like camping out at home.
Yes.
Got a little fire going in the fireplace,
Norman, Oklahoma native. But these players were affected on both teams. I think more so for Houston. You have players from out of the city, in apartments with roommate situations, power out. I think everyone lost power for at least 6 or 8 hours. Some people lost power for upwards of 48 hours.
Yeah, we actually went without power for about 3 days. One of the biggest things that they were worried about this weekend was also the water situation. For quite a few days there, we were under boil water restrictions. So the fact that we're here playing today is pretty impressive.
Katie Rep at the plate against McAdoo. Nice off-speed pitch. Makes it 2-1.
And that's the first time we've seen the changeup from McAdoo. Well executed. And you have to wonder as a hitter, when you see the velo screwball in, and then for her to throw that thing just has to look like a beach ball there for a minute.
Sticks with the same pitch. It's 2-2.
Always appreciate the repeater. Works once, might as well throw it again, right? And gonna get it the 3rd time.
Pizzo for 3. Now Katie Ray Brown.
Speaking of changeups, I once threw 7 changeups to the same batter in 2 at-bats.
And how did it end?
Strikeout and ground ball.
Nice.
Yeah.
Coach Gasso out to the circle. She'll try to navigate the early parts of this season. Fist bump for McAdoo. And that will do it. She'll end with confidence after that strikeout of Katie Repa. And now the 2021 debut of Shannon Sale. She did not travel to El Paso last weekend, still dealing with a bit of a shoulder problem, but she led the Sooners last season. 7 innings pitched, 89 strikeouts, 1.80 ERA, as they dealt with the absence of G. Juarez, who missed most of the year. Also came out of the bullpen for 5 saves. Really good season with 20 appearances.
And again, just another arm out of this bullpen. Good velo. Obviously a talented pitcher looking at her numbers from last season.
Coach Gasso says she has hunger. One of these seniors who gets a 5th season. The extra year is a gift. Really put in the work physically and mentally. A more mature approach to things. And like many for Oklahoma, an outstanding fall. Good strikeout stuff last year. 89 strikeouts, 70 innings, but the number that stood out to me, only 5 homers allowed in those 70 innings.
Yeah, and that's actually something that's interesting. You know, you always hear when you're facing someone with velo, you just got to make contact, and that's not necessarily how that works. So just her ability to move the ball around the zone and not make mistakes in the middle. I mean, I don't know how many times can say that is just the ability to move both up and down or left and right, and then not leave stuff over the middle in hitters counts.
Oh, 0-2 on Katie Ray Brown. Sales from Lando Lakes, Florida, had a great start to her career at FIU, Florida International and Conference USA, and one of these transfers who's come to Oklahoma and done a great job. Bounced to second. Donahue over to first. 2 outs.
Now batting.
Really just a good sequence there from Sel. Katie Ray Brown underneath those first 2 pitches. And Sel just works that inside on the hands. Easy to get a jam shot out.
Here's Paige Lott. Takes a called strike. 2 years at FIU for Sale. Was first team All-Conference USA her first 2 years. The ERAs of 1.5 and 1.9. Was the freshman of the year at FIU in 2017. Pop foul by Lott.
And really good ride to the zone with Sale. I don't know if you've noticed that from here. Not a lot of down movement out of the ball, so it really makes her effective low in the zone, right? You see the ball low out of the hand, you expect the ball to move down. She gets good ride through the zone. It doesn't move down as fast as other pitchers or other pitches would, and then you take that and elevate it up through the zone. It's hard to catch up to.
Oklahoma did a great job with transfers. Of course, Chihuahua stands out from ASU to Oklahoma. Sale another from FIU to Norman. And 2 that are not available today due to contact tracing. Is that just miss? Taylor Snow, transfer from Auburn, a big part of this year's team. And then the everyday third baseman, Janet Johns, a transfer from South Carolina. So they're taking players from other programs, and they're suddenly in the mix as starters for Oklahoma. Foul backing out of play.
Yeah, and part of that is, I mean, the transfer portal has made that a lot easier to do since that's been put in place. And you know, throughout softball, you see that quite a bit in terms of players transferring to schools.
The transfer portal might suddenly get very interesting with the decision made by the NCAA to allow an extra year of eligibility from freshman through senior. Nice pitch, swing and a miss. Lott down on strikes. Good work out of the bullpen in her 2021 debut for Sale. That will do it here in Game 1. An 8-run lead after 6 innings.